The election interference report was released, but is it complete? Sanctions were imposed, but will there be charges? And will Donald Trump's DOJ stop all investigations? Let's look into that. Welcome to Scrying Out Loud. My name is Trevor. So, the report was released and it showed that there was interference by Iran and Russia or factions within there. Some sanctions were opposed. The interference is exactly kind of what was described in my election interference videos, which was to cause social unrest, socioeconomic unrest through, fake AI videos, fake posting, the mis and disinformation that was discussed in those videos. I'll link those videos if you're interested to watch them. But the question I want to ask today is that report complete, or did the Biden administration purposely not release some information because they were afraid of the reaction it would get because some of the foreign interference involved countries that we consider allies? So let's get some more shuffle. Was the election interference report complete? Seeing like some secretive talking at a desk, I get the feeling that there was some good chunks of the report that was originally in it that was later taken out. But let's see. Was the report complete? See what the cards have to say. Okay, so we get the truth. The truth will emerge one way or another. We get my card for Harris. That's the challenge to the report being released fully. There's messages about money underneath. So I wonder if the DNI did not talk to Harris about the full report. And she said, if it didn't change any votes, maybe we should approach this differently. We get the Five of Pentacles in the past. This is being left out in the cold. So I don't think everyone's aware of the stuff that they had to release. Here's the Three of Pentacles. I think, or Three of Wands. I think this is the voters. I think the voters are waiting for the information. I think we all know something was a little bit amiss. The question is will we get that information? This is my card for the voters. The Four of Wands is the near-term outcome. So I think there will be a large public demand that all of this stuff come unsealed. We get steady leadership with the Queen of Wands. Uh, we get some fiery messages. I think the DNI and the Biden administration are very concerned about what would happen if they released the full report um, in regards to the US's relationship with Israel and India and possibly some other countries. Um, we have the Three of Pentacles. So this is partnerships around money and the hopes and fears. I think this is a hope that those will be revealed. Exactly what they are is unclear. And yeah, I mean, I think this fits perfect as an outcome. This is the Hanged Man. This is pausing and suspension. So there's a reason why they haven't released everything they know. We'll try to get to that. We get the Six of Wands. This could be foreign influence, travel, also moving away from troubled waters. Um, and then we get Biden. So Biden knows what's going on here, as do I think a lot of the congressional Democrats that are in leadership roles. So no, I'm fairly sure that the report is not complete. I think it leaves out some foreign influence that took place on countries that we consider allies, but I don't know that the actual governments were involved in the interference. So, for example, on the troll farms in India, I don't think the Modi government was directly involved. I just don't think they did anything. I think they kind of overlooked it. And as far as Netanyahu, you know, teaming up with Russia, that's going to come out in a different way, I think is the thought. So the idea there is that Netanyahu purposely kept the Gaza tragedies going to keep the social unrest on campuses and influence voters into thinking that Kamala and Biden supported genocide, which on the surface of it's a little bit ridiculous, but it was very effective. I mean, you could interview, I mean, you saw interviews on the news of young kids saying they're not going to vote for either one of them because Kamala supports genocide. So, um, I think the interference is very effective. But I think the question we should move to now is the government imposed sanction. Actually, let's ask another question first before we do that. Will the full report be released? Did the Biden administration archive it in a way that it can't be tampered with, and so that it would be released with the FOIA request? Will the full election interference report be released? I'm getting a picture of like the National Archives, which makes me think that they tucked it away in a spot that nobody knows about except for them, but will be discovered by lawyers filing a FOIA request, which might be why we got the voters in the short-term outcome. Okay, will the full report be released? Will the full election interference report be released? So I'm seeing the Sun card, so I think so. Let's see what the cards say though. Okay, so we get the Four of Cups. This is loss. And it's challenged by the truth, but particularly I think that we can interpret this slightly different with this tarot deck. The truth is stuck in a rock. It's being pulled out. The challenge is getting the truth out. We get the Three of Wands again. This could be foreign influence, waiting for one ship to come in. We might have to wait a little bit for it to come out. In the past, we get the Fool, which is a new start. I think that's the election. I think, you know, that's the childish people winning the election. Uh, we get illusion and delusion in the sky. I think the Trump people think that they can keep this from coming out. Um, but I think they're a little bit delusional. We get juggling money in the near term future, and you can see the ship in the background. This is off of foreign money. So, is there still foreign influence going on that's going to affect the release of the full report? There might be. We get temperance, and every time we read on Trump, we get the Four of Swords, the Ten of Swords, the Death card every time. So, we got the Four of Swords. This could be ill health. It also could be the idea of taking a break period so that the public can fully absorb the report. And I mean, there it is. The hope is the death card. The hope is a new start with elections that aren't being interfered with. I mean, this is the fourth election in a row, or third election in a row for sure, presidential elections that have had foreign influence in them. So the hope is that that stops. And the outcome card is the lovers, which is partnerships. It's a yes card. We get steady leadership with the Queen of Swords, and we get justice. So the full report is going to come out. It's just a matter of time. So, so if the full report's going to come out, now we can move on to the next question. Now that we know that. will there be charges involved, um, and not just sanctions? So it's hard to charge foreign nationals and actually prosecute them, but I'm sorry, it's hard to prosecute them. It's not necessarily hard to charge them. There's several people that the US has charged in Russia with various crimes that have never been prosecuted, for example. So will there be legal charges brought against individuals or entities involved in the election interference? Will there be charges brought against individuals or entities involved in the interference? I'm getting the page of swords, with the page of swords, and actually, I think it is this deck. It's a picture of someone walking on a tightrope. I feel like that the Biden administration feels like they're walking on a tightrope and they're concerned about doing something that's just going to get undone in a couple weeks. Let's see what the cards say. So there's giving and receiving of information or money, the Six of Pentacles. Again, we get the Ace of Swords. The truth is the challenge, but it's really the truth coming out is the challenge. Um, we get the King of Swords, so there's steady leadership, very thoughtfulness about what's going on here. I don't think the Biden administration is purposely trying to cover something up. I think they're trying to be thoughtful about the way they go about it. We get the Ten of Wands in the past. There's this heavy burden of how to handle the situation. That makes a lot of sense. We get the Strength card in the sky. So that's a definite yes card. The future or the short-term outcome is heartache. So I don't think these charges are going to come soon. I think we're going to be left wanting. And that's kind of what I was picking up with when the full report would come out. It might take a little while. We get the Three of Wands waiting, pausing, waiting for one ship to come in. Uh, we get the Ten of Pentacles, families, reunions, voters. Um, Hopes and fears is the Hermit card. I think here this is a fear that the light will never be shown. You know, the light from the hermit's lantern will never be used to enlighten the public on exactly what happened. And yeah, then the outcome is the card for Trump. So I think the concern is that if they did bring charges, the Trump DOJ would just drop them and nothing would come about it. We get the Eight of Cups, which is walking away from something that no longer serves us. But then we get the Eight of Pentacles, which is the Apprentice card, working hard on plans. So if I had to guess and interpret what's going on here, is that the Biden administration has a plan for this stuff to come public. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. And in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of disappointed people that just feel the heartache knowing that something happened but not getting the full answers. But eventually I think it will come out. So the question is, how would they go about that? But let's first ask a different question. I had some imagery on how they might go about that before last night before I started piecing together how we would organize this reading. I think the next question is, and I think we probably know the answer, is will Trump's DOJ stop all the investigations into foreign influence into the election? So, will the Trump DOJ stop all investigations into foreign influence in the election? So I can see Pam Bondi. So I think she gets confirmed as Attorney General. And I don't know. She might surprise us. Let's see what the cards say. I'm getting an image of like her whispering behind her hands of like she's doing something that she wasn't supposed to be, what Trump didn't want her to do. But let's see. Will the Trump DOJ stop all election interference investigations? Yeah, let's get the Hermit card. She might kind of be going at it alone. It's kind of interesting. I don't know how close they actually are. Well, we get a new beginning. We get the new DOJ, the Ace of Pentacles. The challenge is the anxiety. And I think this is probably better interpreted as the challenge is standing up to Trump and the pain that that would bring. We get partnerships underneath with the Lovers card. It's a lot of major arcanas and aces. We get the Magician, but that's in the past. I think this is like Trump and Elon Musk manifesting this dark energy around the interference in ways that it would be hard to expose, but ways that it's kind of easily seen, but ways that it's hard to expose that they were involved with it. We get a fiery message in the sky. Yeah, I think, when Bondi's approved as Attorney General, and I've never seen anything in my visions that say she won't. She's gonna feel very confined with the Eight of Swords. Um, and then we get loss with the Four of Cups. We get giving and receiving with the six. I'm sorry, intergenerational relationships with the Six of Cups. The hopes and fears is that she's willing to take on this burden with the Ten of Wands. I actually think this is a hope. The hope is that the DOJ will take on the burden to stand up against Trump and continue the investigations. But the outcome is loss with the Five of Cups. So he's going to put an end to it. He's not going to allow them to go forward. Um, I think she, maybe was picking up on something else. I think maybe she wants to go forward with it, but she won't. And then the government has the ultimate say, that, the church, the president. Yeah, so I think the Trump DOJ is going to put an end to this, or they'll be asked to put an end to it. And if it is continuing, it will be highly secretive because otherwise she'll just end up getting fired as Attorney General. I mean, what do we have? Two or three Attorney Generals the last time he was in charge? Okay. So let's ask the question then, does the Biden administration have a plan to circumvent the DOJ so the investigations continue? Does the does Biden, Harris, Democrats have a plan to keep the investigations going without the Department of Justice? I see Hakeem Jeffries. It might have to wait until the Dems take the House back in 2026. Do they have a plan to investigate the foreign influence in the election, despite Trump's DOJ dismissing any interference? Do Dems have a plan? See Shapiro and Newsom. So I don't know if the states would have enough resources to investigate something so big, but possibly. Let's see what the cards say. Yeah, so we're at a crossroads. They know that as soon as uh, the Republicans take power, there's going to be an end to these investigations. The challenge to ending them is Biden. This is like the card that, some people pointed out as Dark Brandon, right, with the B and the J. Um, It's the high priestess, dark energy. In the subconscious, we have the Eight of Swords again. So this is confinement. They feel like they're going to have a hard time going about it. The Ace of Wands, that fiery new beginning, that fiery truth, it's in the past. So I think they already know what it is. There's going to be a big fight about how to go about this, or whether to go about this, maybe even true. But we get the Ace of Cups in the near future. That's positive. So we get some, uh, the truth is coming and it's going to be surprising. The fish jumping out of the water is kind of like the Page of Cups with the fish jumping out, just kind of like bombshells. Uh, the truth is hidden, but it's coming. That's three aces in this reading. Yeah, and then we get the devil card, which is mis and disinformation. They're going to try their best to frame this as the Democrats being sore losers. That will be the line, is, oh, they're just sore losers about the election. But in the hopes and fears, we get the tower. Something explosive is going to happen. Um, that's the hope, anyhow. And then again, in the Four of Swords, which could be ill health, with the Star card, which is protection, and the Star of Hope, and then with the Fool, which is new beginnings. I think so. I think the Dems have a plan. I don't know if it is to do it at the state level or if it's to wait for 2026 and the Democrats to take control of the House. It might have to wait until the Four of Swords happens. Um, if Trump's no longer in power, I think it might be easier to do these things without fear of retribution. I think there's a lot of fear on the state level that if they go about something like this, he might withhold FEMA funds and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And there's nothing really to stop him, unfortunately. So, and yeah, I think in the end we'll know what it is. I think the right people will be held accountable. I don't see it happening anytime soon. I think it's going to take a while before we get the full report, and then after that, a while to hold people accountable. Anyhow, please like, share, subscribe. I appreciate everybody that contributes to the channel. I'll be back later.